So we possibly are live a little bit earlier than anticipated. Let me just try and get Leroy on the case. 1 second. Where are we? Mr. Martin. Let's see. Let's see if we get a Leroy join. Good evening to everybody, if you're online, which it looks like we are. Hello. A few people on the side there. Mr. Hammer, Leon, Glazer, Kev, Simon, Ivan. We've got a few pouring along. We just need Mr. Martin to come to the party, and then we're away. So let me just check. I've got a red message on the link. So how are we all? Let's hope you've had a good weekend. I've got a Leroy ready to join. 2 and 1. How about that? We were early for a change. I'm not quite sure what happened. We are live, Mr. Martin. How are you?
Oh, did we go straight into it, did we?
1 second. Stay there 1 second. Can you hear me? I can see you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Whee! Perfect. How are we doing? Good evening,
good,
Mr.
mate.
Martin.
How about yourself?
Well, better now it's working again.
It's still putting me. It's still not bringing up the app anymore. It's like it's given up with the app.
Oh, weird. I don't know what happened tonight. I was busy trying to get it going, and it just went, "You're live." I was like, "Well, that's lovely." I wasn't ready for that, so that was a bit of back working going on. But anyway, good evening. How are you? How's your weekend been?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Obviously couldn't go racing, but we know that. Let me turn this light on. Might be a bit brighter. Yeah, did a bit of mountain biking on Sunday. It's unusual to have a Sunday free, so I did a little bit of that. Yeah, apart from that, not a massive amount went down. What about you?
I saw a worrying picture of you on a mountain bike that looked about 4 foot up in the air. What was going on?
It definitely wasn't 4 foot up in the air, maybe 4 centimeters. It might have felt like 4 foot. But yeah,
it's all in the camera angle.
Went to some nice mountain bike trails. Ben Kennett came along. Me and Ben had a little ride, socially distanced, one-on-one like distance ride thing. But yeah, it was good fun. And there was a camera guy out on the course that took a picture of me not doing many stunts, but trying not to hurt myself.
That sounds cool. Is that somewhere that's local to you? You've been there before, or?
It was in between me and Ben. I won't say where it is, but because it was crazily busy as it was, and we don't want people like swarming there to see Ben, do we? So
I was going to say you might be a little bit over egging yourself there, dude.
Not me. It's all about IB for DJ.
All
Ben.
about Ben. Is it awesome? Yeah. I like it. But yeah, no, I have a nice weekend for myself. Like you say, you could get used to not being out every weekend in a cold field tuning motors, but I'm sure we secretly miss it as well. So it'd be good to get back going again, and also good to see the announcements on the restrictions and stuff this evening from Boris, all sounding like it's going to be a good goer, I would say, for our race that's upcoming.
Yeah, it looks like it. I thought they were going to say more about it later in the week, weren't they? Or was it tonight?
That was tonight, I think. What I was reading, sports events can happen again, and in fact, depending on the tier, you can actually have crowds and stuff as well. So I'm sure they'll be lining up down the road to get into Nemo Racing to watch us drive on.
It's funny because we say about it's Sunday doing what, not racing, for example. Myself and Ben climbing up hills on our mountain bikes, we're going, this is shit, mate. RC is way better than this. It's like, give me a cold field and a bacon sandwich any day.
So that's where we need to be recruiting then, because if we could get half the people that have bought bikes and suddenly become Lance Armstrong over lockdown into RC, we'd be laughing.
Yeah, mate, you should have seen the amount of people that were exercising where we were, and it was just like, it was insane. If you could have got £5 off each one, then people that enter the forest they're in, you would have been a millionaire on that day, I reckon.
This time next year, Rodney.
This time
on that bombshell, what are you drinking? Good health.
I had a nice glass of Shiraz, Nice red tonight. Couldn't find
Very
a wine
good.
glass.
I'm on a Shiraz as well, so swapping
I'm
it up.
surprised to see you actually found a glass rather than a cup.
Yes, well, I've still got a cup as well. It's got Coke in it, though. It's
I've
very
got
thirsty work doing these things.
It is. That's why I've got the backup H2O.
So that was probably our longest intro ever. Shall we do the Leroy shout-outs down the side? So we've got watching us tonight.
Yeah, we've all been thrown out, haven't we, by going straight online. We couldn't have our little catch-up beforehand.
Exactly.
So here we go. Live chat on the side. Sorry, I've got to look over this way, but you can see my good side. Ivan Bingham says, "Come in my eye, John." It's probably the best opening line I've had. So thank you, Ivan. Simon Lee says, "Locked in tonight. Topics?" Is that it?
Sorry, say that again, mate.
Simon Lee's locked in for tonight.
Locked in for tonight's topic. Perfect, Simon. Awesome.
Kev Brunson says, "Good evening, guys," from Kev, Claire, and Elise. Evening, Kev, Claire, and Elise.
Good.
Glazer, why are we waiting? Oh, why are we waiting? Oh, why? Oh, why? Oh, why? Ha, 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 ha. I guess he was very early on the stream waiting for us.
It was, and we were actually early today.
Yeah.
Normally we're later than Glazer.
Leo Morel says, "Hi, boys," with a star in his eye. Hi, Lizzie, too, if she's on the couch next to him. Linda Hammer, Don and James says, "Evening. Hope all is well." Chris James says, "Evening, chaps." Nick Simerson says, "Evening. This must be better than tuning into Boris's claptrap earlier." Maybe, maybe not. Glazer says, testing, 1, 2, 3. I think it's been drinking. Oh, God, my stream's just moved. Where are we? There we go. Marcus Butler, good evening, gents. Good evening, Marcus. Chris James, Maliki and CJ here. Hi, Maliki. Matt Thompson, hi, guys. Hi, Matt. Lee Mag says, "Good evening, lads." Good evening. Martin Hart, good evening, Bossman and Lee. Evening, Martin Hart. Jonesy Cram's back.
Wee. Open it up.
Yeah, I got so confused last week when he changed his name, but he says hello, hello, hello in a typical fashion of himself. Quincy Aberdeen says, "Hey guys." Hey Quincy. Nobby Lemoyne, you're way too far down this week, Nobby. I'm a little bit upset with you. You should have been on way earlier. He says, "All right, guys." Scott Funnington says, "Evening, guys." Lee, nice trim. I haven't had a trim. I just like tidied it up a little bit, but thanks.
It does look more trimmed. I saw somewhere someone asking what the Nemo part number was for our beards. I think that was on last week's stream by someone.
BR01. Where am I? Al Bridgman Digger says, "Evening, oh, evening, Digger." Craig Homer says, "Evening, guys. At least for no racing, there's time for a proper Sunday dinner." I didn't get a Sunday dinner. Did you?
Yes, I know it was delicious.
All right, whatever. Charlie Locke says, "Evening." Simon Hudspeth, "Evening, chaps. Looking forward to getting to the track next month if the law lets me over the county line." Ben Kennett says, "Evening." Hello, Ben. Arvinder says, "Evening, guys." Winston Barnett says, "Good evening." Jonathan C. We know a Jonathan C, don't we?
We do.
We do. We know Jonathan C. He says, "Hi." Leo Morel.
I predict a lot of people are going to know Jonathan C in the not too that distant future.
Yeah. Leo Morel. "I bet the hairdo is looking rough." It is, mate.
Whoa.
Is it good?
Well, I was looking at these hair systems again the other day. So rather than me try and find a donor, you could just cut your hair and we could send it into the hair system company, and I could appear with a wig on one of the shows. That would be worth a laugh for a while.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. I needed a haircut before lockdown, so it really didn't help when they closed the doors, and that was me done with the hair for the month.
I'm sure Mr. Glasgow would point out that I didn't need a haircut before lockdown.
Winston Barnett says, "What you drinking?" We already discussed that, which is red wine, red wine. Chewy Gaming says, "Evening, gents. Hope you're well. Looking forward to getting back racing. ? Fingers crossed." And Nobby said, "I would have been on earlier, but I'll blame the missus and say she wanted to watch EastEnders and he loves me more."
Good. I love you more too.
We
still need to get Chewy on.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Each week passes in a blink of an eye, and we haven't organised it, so we need to actually get with it. So there's Chewy, Johnny Roberts. I'd like to feature Johnny on one of these. I think that'd be good for a laugh. Get back to having a special guest each week. That could be fun and controversial.
Yeah.
How did your Cars That Rock go? Have you done your next instalment and I've missed it, or is it?
I filmed it. I'm just still editing. It's quite a long one. I had over an hour's worth of interview to work through.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did the interview on Thursday, which was awesome, and it is really cool. Talked about many things with a guy that's far more intelligent than me and knows far more about RC than I do, which, you can imagine the stature of the guy. So yeah,
it's going to be a treat. It's going to be a treat, that one, for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to getting it out. It'll be out midweek. I just want to make it a real good one.
Good, I like it. What's in your closet? What have we got? Anything good?
We've got something, yes, we do. It's still in the closet from my interview on Thursday. So
okay,
I can get it out. And I know you're going to appreciate this one, John.
Also what she said. Yes.
You might be a little bit jealous, and only a little bit, because, well, you'll see.
Luckily, I don't really have the jealous gene. Somehow I seem to miss that one, which I'm forever grateful for. So I'm just excited to share in your lovely toy that you're going to have. What is it? Oh, look at that, you naughty man. That is awesome.
See, I know you've got one of these, but this is an original.
That is cool. And I don't know where the wing or the body shell is for my one either, so it doesn't look anywhere near as cool as that one, sadly. That's very cool. And being original as well, that's actually a very valuable piece in your hand. Yeah,
so this is actually this is a RCI. It's ready to run. Like, it's got its own original radio, and it's got its original batteries in here. And if I charged it up, I could literally drive this around the street.
You could, and did they come like that back in the day? Could you buy them sort of like ready to rock and roll?
No, they were kits. They were quite expensive kits. And then people had to literally paint these guys in here.
Yeah,
that's when they actually had a driver, unlike the drones that we've got now. But yeah, people actually had to spend a bit of time. This was purchased from a guy called Daniel Rowlands, who sadly passed away with that horrible C word that gets a lot of people. But he was a massive avid collector.
Right.
I managed to get this off him, before he got sick and stuff. So yeah, it's got a nice keen place in my heart. Reason is, I wanted it in the first place because this is actually the first car that I ever got bought to go racing. So
wow, that's cool.
I saw racing. I'll give you a little bit of a story, as we haven't got much to talk about.
I'm sitting.
So the reason I found racing was back in '97. Well, it's actually late '96. I used to do a lot of sports at my secondary school. No, it would have been '97, I think. Anyway, and when I used to stay after school, I used to look through the hall window, and in the main hall they had an RC club. And I was like, man, that looks fun. And then one day I was like, Dad, come look at this. And then we looked at it through the window, and he was like, oh yeah, we can get into that. And then we went, you remember the free ads? Went and looked at the free ads, and there was an advert for 2 Tamiya cars, ready to go or whatever. So we went. I remember going to this person's house. I don't know. It couldn't have been too far away, but we turned up and saw these 2 cars and bought them. And one of them was a Tamiya monster truck. I can't remember what they're called now.
Lunchbox or something?
No, it was more racy than a lunchbox. It might have been a Mad Bull or something. I don't know. Right. And the other one was this. And we thought, we'll get a bit of practice with the Tamiya monster truck. And you probably don't remember my house when you went there, but my parents' house.
Yeah.
You actually drove up this lane, and there was some lakes on the side. And I remember getting it for my birthday, which is Christmas Eve. So I got it over Christmas, and all the lakes had frozen over. And I was at the top of the hill when my parents' house is. And I thought, I'll drive the truck down the hill and then turn it around and drive it back. But old 27 meg radios, obviously the range wasn't that great. So I set off down the hill, and then all of a sudden it weren't doing anything, and it was carrying on flat out. And it hit this bit of grass, landed on its roof, and slid to the middle of the lake. And I was like, what do I do now? Eventually managed to get it off. I can't remember revving it or something, and it come off in the end.
Wow.
But yeah, and then we went to the club with this. Must have been the January. We went to the club. We ran it for the first time, and then they banned us from using it. They said it was there's too many metal parts and it could hurt a marshal. So then we went to Apex Models and bought a Schumacher Cat 2000. And the rest is history. But this was
very cool.
The first like car I actually had, and it's quite a bit ahead of its time too. It's like a shaft drive. They've got gear diffs in them. Obviously, no oil in it because it free rolls forever.
Yeah.
Really clever roll bars on them. Very clever front steering, which I'm going to talk about for my interview because we talked about it. It's just very, very clever car. This, although it's mad, it's way ahead of its time still.
And won some stuff as well.
Sorry?
And won some stuff in its time as well, didn't it? When it was out.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was way over engineered for what it was, but it obviously went okay.
I think Boothie ran one, didn't he? I think Boothie ran one and did very well with it. I seem to remember.
Yeah, he was a Tamiya factory guy, and yeah. I mean, we'd have to get him on one time and talk about it. Maybe even in the RC Cars That Rocked.
Yeah, that would be cool. I just remember for me that's I put it a long time ago. I think on an Instagram thing. That's the car that made me want to get into RC racing. I hadn't done any racing at the time. Used to get the magazines because I liked radio controlled cars, and they always seemed to run like a full page advert from my memory on that car, and it just looked so much better than the thing that I had. I can't even remember what it was now, Super Saver or something like that. Very basic Tamiya. And I was just like, that is the coolest thing. I want one of those. And that's what got me really looking to see, there's the proper racing that you can go and do with these things. It's so cool. Remember going into like the BTs. Do you remember going into the BTs at the time and they'd have the videos playing and all that sort of stuff of the cars? So lacking now, that sort of stuff, to be able to walk in off the high street after school and go and see these radio controlled cars. That was, happy days. I got very fond memory of going in there and looking at that sort of stuff. It was very cool.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a massive part of that. And I thought it'd be cool to keep it out of its special place for a while, just to show on the show.
No, that's cool. Has it run at all or not?
I mean, it's been used. I've never actually used it myself, but it has been used. Right. It's got a silver can in it. Oh no, it's got a Technigold. It's got a gold can motor in there. Tamiya gold can. They were the weapons of the day. So I'm told. But yeah, I mean, even the wing is cool, isn't it? Being nuts is neat. Being nuts is neat. Good old Japanese.
Yeah, exactly. Where did that even come from? But it was cool.
Yeah. So when I
awesome.
When I drove for Tamiya, I actually got a clear body from an Avanti and got the original designer to sign the body shell for me.
That is very cool. You've got a seriously cool collection of cars, to be fair.
Yeah, not too bad stuff here, but I'm still kind of collecting some.
They're not normally out. When I've come to your house, that you keep them hidden away. Are they under lock and key somewhere, or under the bed?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to keep them. I'm not allowed to keep them in the house on display, so they go in a very special place where no one knows.
You need to have a roll call on that. They need to be on the wall or on the shelf. Get the other trinkets off. Get the RC cars off.
Dust though, wouldn't they? You'd be having to dust them every week.
yeah, exactly. Very cool. Another very cool closet feature there, mate.
Thank you.
I don't know how you're going to keep producing these things. Just keep doing these
I've got
features.
plenty more.
Have to get onto eBay and start buying some other old classics up. Oh my God. Blimey. So, no racing. I don't think even in the US we had any racing. Obviously, some fairly large news for us today. We've parted company with Ryan after 2 very successful years of racing. Arguably some of our best results. We've been lucky to have quite a few as a small team, but Ryan has, in the 2 years that was with us, obviously our highlight was DXR. Winning that race, I think, was one of the best of Nemo's and mine and yours as well. I mean, you were there as well at that time. It was a pretty epic win. Podium, the Raw Nats and stuff. So really good 2 years. Parting ways. He's going in a different direction. We're going in a slightly different direction too as well. But all positive, all good. So a big thank you if Ryan, you're watching. He's had some personal dramas, unfortunately, over the last couple of days. So hopefully his wife's recovering. So been a bit of a busy time for him in the last few days. But yeah, so I want to get that one out of the way. Actually, we'll move forward. got some exciting plans that we're going to be doing in the US as well, and getting behind an ever-growing junior team that Billy's been assembling over there. And as we've seen over the last few races, they're getting some incredible results. So, yeah, a sad day, but full of positivity as well.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have much time to do much racing with Ryan. Only Montpellier. Because
that wasn't his finest hour, to be fair. Montpellier.
No,
that was a big ask to come to a European track.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, good luck to him wherever he goes. As you say, we're going to move onwards and upwards, hopefully, and really put some effort into the young guys that are doing really well over in the States, and try and push them on.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that's close to the heart of Nemo from the very beginning. We've always been about trying to get the juniors and bring them through. We've done it and we've covered this before, I think, on here as well. We've done it multiple times with people, and invariably, people move on, and there's offers that you can't match, and all that sort of stuff goes on. But it's exciting to be now having the opportunity to do that in the States, to be recognised enough now, which is thanks to Ryan as well. He showed. I mean, we certainly in Europe have seen it for many years. We've won lots of stuff over here with our stuff, but in America, it really put us on the stage to show, Ryan is a brilliant driver, but equally our stuff's good enough to go and win those big races as well. So big thank you for that. It has definitely helped us elevate our platform over in America, and the spring doing in European markets as well, with those younger drivers like Lewis Jones, for example, bringing on that next generation. Brandon Rose is a big part of that in the US for us. We hope to try and keep hold of him. It's difficult over there because the market is so different to ours that these guys, they show their talent, and before you've even sort of looked round, someone's snapping at the heels to try and pick them off you. It's quite weird, but it's very sharky what goes on. But you learn these lessons, don't you? It's difficult seeing all of that when we're slightly remote from it. See, it's not a market that we're living in, and it is obviously so big over there as well. It's mind blowing, some of the things that you hear over there.
Yeah, it is.
It's definite David and Goliath for us. It's exciting when you do get the good results, because you're up against budgets and teams that are far bigger than we are at the minute. Everything has a beginning.
The only way is up.
So that was my big news. I wanted to head that one off because I'm sure there'll be lots of people that want to have some fun with that. There's no fun to be had, really. Just one of those things. People move around. No racing, none in the States, I don't think, really, even over the weekend that I saw, and I think Billy was out anywhere. Obviously, Europe as well. We've still been in lockdowns, so not for long. Not for long. We're going to be back out and racing. We announced our race this week, which was good, or last week, I should say. Which has already got a very nice entry, rolled across from the previous one, but it's going to be a very, very competitive season ender for us, I guess, really, as we're now into December. It'll probably be our last one that we do this side of the new year, so that's going to be exciting, as long as the weather gods allow it.
Yep. I mean, there was some racing in Florida. It was indoor carpet racing, but I actually don't know the results.
I definitely wouldn't know the results of that point.
No. But yeah, I'm looking forward to our race. Looking forward to hopefully, Sam at Slough has an indoor race on a Saturday, which unfortunately I can't attend because it's my boy's birthday.
That's damn.
Yeah, I wish him all the success with that, because we need to get indoor racing going again. So anyone that wants to go and support Sam and his club at Slough. And then we got Hearts the week after on the 13th, so it could be a couple of good weekends of racing.
Yeah, so it's quite difficult, isn't it? Again, when you're coming out of lockdown, everybody wants to try and get a race on, so it's just impossible to find a weekend where there's nothing on. So a real shame that Sam's one doesn't clash with us, but certainly the Saturday with prior commitments and stuff, and us getting ready for our race. It's a shame, because I do really enjoy going down to the Slough Club. I think it's a cool little indoor venue. So hopefully going to get a nice entry, and we'll try and support that and encourage our team to get down there with the top stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I was hoping that he still might do a Friday evening before the Saturday. I told him he should do, even if he just opens it up for practice. With social distancing and stuff, he was worried about actually running a race, but just open it up for practice. Everyone's gagging to get to the track, so
yeah, definitely. And everyone's, they're in that mindset of masks and all that sort of stuff, which does alleviate a fair amount of of those worries, doesn't it? I think so. That
Yeah.
would be good. So yeah,
Don't touch each other up, and we'll be all right.
yeah, exactly. So we'll feature our race, I guess, probably a little bit more on next Monday's one, as we'll be getting pretty close to it. Mr. Truman Senior has been in over the weekend and drained the track off, and it's all sparkly right now with a couple of nice dry days ahead of us as well. And the end of the week looks quite good too. So all encouraging signs that we're going to have a chance to dry out a little bit from this wet weather that we've been having. And get an awesome race. I actually can't wait. It feels like ages since we've done a race again. Obviously, it can't be that long, but you just do get so used to being out all the time that when it feels odd to not be at the races.
I mean, it is quite long because we were meant to race before lockdown kicked off, but it rained that hard that weekend that no one could really get out anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a month now basically. So roll on the 6th and 5th.
Yeah, roll on the 6th and the 5th. If you're watching and you've got any questions that you'd like Lee and I to answer, pop them on the side there, and we'll gladly get to them a little bit later on. I've got a host of questions that have been sent in to me over the last hour or so, requesting a few. Should we run through them, or is there any other news items that you would like to cover, Mr. Martin?
Well, let's do all the comments so we're up to date, and then when we start, then we're not behind.
Marvelous.
Firstly, for anyone that is watching that is able to just press that thumbs up button, why not? I mean, it takes you just a couple of seconds to press it, and it makes our life just feel a little bit more rounded and fulfilled in this very difficult time, eh, John?
Mine personally, no, because I never look at all that sort of stuff. But yes, for the purpose of this conversation, I got you.
Right, so I'm on to the comments.
100%.
Yes. They're saying I must race it in an iconic event. I don't think I'm going to race that one. I could race the re-release. I've got one of them too. Me and John could both race our re-releases.
Race the re-release.
Race the re-release.
I'll do it too.
They should produce. Glazer's always shouting at me with caps on. They should produce an Agama body show like the Avanti. Have you froze, or have I just?
It's just because Mr. Glasbrick's battery on his hearing aid will have gone. Both.
Oh. So yeah, hearing aid battery flat. Got you. Kev Brunson says, "Was it Kingsclear School?" Kev, you're on the right tracks, pal. The school was called the Clear School, but it was in Berkeley. It wasn't in Kingsclear. But yes, that was my secondary school. Craig Homer, my two passions as a kid were RC cars and was big into WWF. So BEs was 1 hour just staring at stuff. Yeah, man, I used to go to BEs and absolutely loved it. All the Tamiya stuff I remember looking at. It was awesome. Sean Berryman,
just before you move on, just before you move on to Mr. Squirrel, Craig Homer, he answered that call of coming home, and he has managed to locate himself at 3-1, and is going to be back waving the Nemo flag in 2021. So welcome back, Craig. Awesome to have you back. Great choice. We'll make sure you're facing the right way with it as well as soon as we can get out.
What a legend. What a legend. Sean Berryman, he's been in my special place and he can confirm it's sexual indeed. Exactly. And he's not even seen any RC cars. Graham Rice. I was going to say, you're going to have a YouTube user. Yeah. I feel there's a slight delay with us.
There is a slight delay. I said you're going to have a jealous YouTube user.
Yes, yeah. Oh man, in a minute he's going to be messaging.
Yeah.
Charlie Locke, hey chaps, looking for a slightly shorter manifold for his A319. Seems to catch on the side guards. What do you guys run?
Well, we run it pipe, which is the same as the OS 2060 with a standard manifold on it. So either ask you for and try and make a plan. Probably run pipe, which is the same as the OS 20. on Bullet, the beat. Now listen to myself in stereo.
It's cutting out quite a lot for you.
What do I do with that? Should we try a refresh?
Know.
Do I dare try a refresh?
I mean, you're okay right now.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is when I try a refresh, normally it goes wrong for about 5 minutes.
I think you might have to try a refresh.
But now you've frozen. I want. Okay. I'm going to try a refresh anywhere. Have you anywhere?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm trying. Give me one second.
So I think people can still hear me.
Bits.
John has disappeared. So I'll just answer some questions down the side in case you can still hear me,
I'm back.
everyone. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
You answer the questions, and I'll keep...
in bits and bobs. Right, I'm going to answer questions. Hopefully everyone can still kind of hear me loud and clear. Give me a thumbs up if you can. So here we go. 1066 Winter Whip is on the 13th as well. At the next meeting, will there be 2 e-buggy finals? Yes, we're going to do 2 e-buggy finals for the next meeting. Well,
now,
we discussed
how is that?
it last
how
time.
is that? How is that?
Hello, mate. You're back.
Hey, marvelous.
Cool.
Sorry, everybody.
So I was just saying we're going to do 2 e-buggy finals for the next meeting. We did discuss it before, didn't we? So I think that was going to happen.
Yes.
And we'll probably do one at the start of finals and then one closer towards the end, or one in the middle.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Or one on the one on the Saturday because it's dark by 4 o'clock these days.
Yeah, exactly. We'll try and squeeze something in. I mean, we could run the e-buggy one like straight away without a break for finals, I guess, if Rumble's on it.
We can make a plan.
Yeah. So yeah, 1066 Whip is on the 13th as well for anyone that's scared of going to Hearts or wants to race their temp scale. Quake says, oh goodness, he's late. Evening, gents. So evening to you. Phil Truman is present and correct.
As ever. As ever, on Mr. Truman. Did you see the photo that I used for the stream tonight? Was Mr. Truman when we were out doing our bits and bobs the other day?
I did. I saw him working very hard.
Good.
Johnny Skidmore says, will there be any practice on the Sunday of the race meeting or straight into qualifying?
There will be some practice, buddy. It will be as per normal winter meetings, where there'll just be a half an hour or 45-minute slot on the Sunday morning, and it'll be like a bit of a first come first serve, wait for you go kind of a job, because it's really difficult to try and get through the full races when it's dark at 4 o'clock. But yeah, there'll definitely be some practice on the Sunday morning.
Yeah, maybe we can do like 5-minute slots. Go up 10, go up 5 minutes, 10 off.
Yeah,
10 up.
Yeah, exactly, and we can man that as well, so that it's fair for like it's everyone's getting the fair crack at it.
Yeah. So there you go. Yes. So Quake said, what's a good way to pick up sponsors?
Blimey. Well, I guess it depends really. I think with it depends really what you're looking for. I think, you know, some places, if you've got a credit card, that's enough to be able to get a sponsor. I say that in jest, but there's a big element of truth to that. I think for me, the biggest thing I look for is somebody that represents well and enjoys the hobby, sport, stroke, profession, depending on where you are, for what it is, and is out there having fun with it. That's a large part of it for me. That's at a club, wherever that may be, spreading the love in a way of the brands that you represent. Yeah. So really, just act nicely. I think obviously you need to get to a level where there are some results coming through. We do get emails all the time from people that potentially aren't quite ready yet, and they should stay as a shop driver. But yeah, just acting well and supporting your sponsors and the guys that are giving you that bit of discount. That's what I'd look for in return. Leroy, what would you look for in your sponsor driver?
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's you have some good results, but most importantly, you help others. You really get behind the product. You put, you make that extra effort to do what a sponsor driver should. Make sure other people are happy. Make sure they're getting the most out of their stuff and their equipment, and really enjoying their racing. That's what you guys are there for. That's why you're getting a bit of discount to showcase a product. Ultimately.
Yeah, definitely. It's about representing, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
It's quite. I think 8 scale is probably the hardest class for that because there's so many active manufacturers that want to try and get a piece of some sort of a pie, and so there are so many options out there, and there's actually lots of good options as well. There's lots of good cars, good engines. It's not like it was 10 years ago where there was only really a few viable choices if you actually wanted to have a good product. There's a lot of good products out there now, and with that, it's a competitive market. So sponsorship is often available in situations where perhaps it shouldn't be. I don't know. It's a difficult subject, but just act good, mate. Keep at it. Practice where you're at, and you'll be attractive to somebody, no doubt,
Yeah.
wherever you're at.
And try and build a rapport with the team that you want to be sponsored by. Send them results and show them that you're keen and you're making an effort. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
There we go. We'll move on from there. Claire says she can't wait to get back to baking for the track again, and we can't wait to eat it all.
Exactly.
Simon Lee, what's your guys' weapon of choice for transporting all your gear about? Haulers, Ogio bags, pit mats, etc. What do you find easy to use?
Leroy?
I mean,
the above.
Well, yeah, exactly. I have an Ogio 9800, the same as most traveling racers for most of my gear. But then I have a few of the Beta tire bags that carry everything else in, and a Beta pit caddy. Always an essential for me is having a pit caddy, because carrying all your crap to the pit lane is not worth doing unless you've got a pit caddy. So Beta pit bag, and some Beta tire bag, because they're just nice size. They're rigid, and you can chuck almost everything in there, including tires. So there we go.
And a car as well. Car fits in that very well. Very similar to that for me when we're racing, other than I use the Beta haulers. I like a little bit more organisation on having a draw system. Leroy's looked extensively in the past at finding a draw system to work in an Ogio, and maybe one day we'll find one. But yeah, I like to have my stuff really organised. I've nearly got an issue with it. It needs to be organised. So when I see an Ogio bag open, I have to run away and hide in the corner, because normally they're fairly messy affairs. Johnny, especially if it's your dad's one, that could be anything in there, including his sandwiches from last week as well. I can't go racing like that. So Beta bags for me, they're actually really good, to be fair, and they're pretty decent value for money, I think, if anything's decent value for money. Pit caddy, like you say, and yeah, the tire bag and car bag, we use those quite extensively, don't we, for separating the different bits and pieces. There's some good options that are not ours on the market too. We tend to find that most of these things are available from one manufacturer or another.
There we go. So Craig Homer, he says, thanks, guys. Look forward to running it. And, of course, if you need any advice or anything, you can always message myself or John or Nemo page or whatever. TFR CEO. Now, I hope this is my friend Turd.
Did you say turd?
Turd, yeah.
Turd, as in
a shit.
And a turd. Right, okay.
Yeah. So Turd, he is the most legendary legend in the world. He's American, lives in Wisconsin. He's about 7'8", and he's just a whole lot of awesome. He's awesome. He came over for my wedding as well. Very awesome. So I'm assuming it is him. So if it is, hi mate, and best wishes to all the family. Johnny Glasbrook, short manifold, more top end, medium, good all round, long manifold, more bottom end.
Yeah.
Quake says, my end is good. Cheers, Quake. What OnlyFans thing have you been watching? Graham Wright gives a thumbs up. Glazer's just saying you're in and out, like any good porn star. Chris James, John is all over the shop, and Lee, you look like you're dubbed in a bad kung fu movie. Yeah, I think that was our wobbly time.
It was. We've moved past that now. We're into a better time.
Yeah, so I'm going to ignore most of them. Charlie's still asking what you said about manifolds, though.
Well, yeah, I see Phil Trimmer saying, Charlie, if you let us know how long your manifold is, I will see if we have a shorter one for you. Which there's all sorts of innuendos that we could make out of that. But invariably we'll have a shorter one in the Nemo Empire somewhere if Charlie needs one.
Yeah, there you go. But I think he was just saying for fit issues, right? It was hitting the side guards.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, we'll have a little look. Yeah. Cool. Charlie, just get in touch, mate. Scott Follington, yeah, me and Dad will need practice on Sunday morning, as on Saturday we're at Slough. So yeah, Scott, you will get practice. Don't you worry. I'll need practice Sunday morning too because I'll be at birthday parties. Quake, he said, it reminds me, he got paid today and he's been needing some new gear. Well, if you need to know the website,
we can help.
NemoRacing.com. There you go. Sharon is online. Nice to see you've got a good following in this live chat. Thank you, Sharon, and hope you're okay. And hope Remy Martin is doing well and not picking on the cat all the time. That's the puppy, by the way. Yes. Graham Wright says wheelbarrow. Not quite sure why. Manny Palasar is online. Evening bearded bros. The pirate is online. I've got no
Manny, are you coming to our race? I've not seen your name on the entry. I hope so.
I hope so too. Didn't he book in really late for the last one though?
So it will roll over.
Yeah. I think
we will have we'll have some hot wine and some extra rum for you.
Yes, rum it up. Are we going to have nice mulled wines? That's
the plan. Yes, that's the plan. I believe if we give it away, we don't have to worry about
license.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we going to have like mulled fruit juice or something for others?
I think we need to test the hot weather capabilities of our fuel gun on Mr. Chris Boots Senior. So, even if Elliot's not over, I think Chris, you need to come along, mate, and get involved with some hot wine. I know he'll be up for that.
Yeah, you would. I'm looking forward to it. I love mulled wine. It's one of my favourite things ever.
Exactly.
Turd says, good hearing from you. So it must have been Turd. Jeffrey Jordan said, what's up, boys? Not much at the moment. Sealing. Kev Brunston, I'm not allowed to have my stuff in an organised mess anymore. Claire has labelled everything and put it in boxes. Now you'll never find it.
Good job, Claire.
Phil says Turd Ferguson is a legend. He is a legend. Nemo Racing OnlyFans. Yeah, we could do that. We could do some top-list shots of the cars. Johnny Skidmore has retracted his message. No idea what he put.
He said you might even find a set of free rides with a smiley laughing emoji. I think that's in reference to Chalky's
big bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Charlie Locke, thanks, Phil.
I wouldn't worry about that. There's probably a set of bloody pink turbo rats in there, mate.
Remy Martin is taken to running off with footballers' trainers. I've heard about this story. And she found out Kev can still run. Now, we've seen him run marshalling. He can still run at a slower pace than what he used to.
I've only seen Kev dance. I haven't seen him run.
Yeah, and we were going to get
I
that
actually
live
think
dance.
that is, Kev, when you marshal a car, you need to TikTok marshal the car, like in the whole dance thing. That would be epic. That would be epic.
Oh,
In fact,
but
I'll
so-
put myself in the heat before yours or after yours, whichever way around it works, so that you can marshal me in that style.
when we get our broadcasting PA system type thing sorted, every time Kev has to go marshal to a car, we should play the music.
I like it. That's it.
So Scott Vollington says, any news on the new 319 shell you were doing?
Is there any news, Leroy? Did you set that one up?
You mean that one?
Hey, look at that.
She's a bit white. I'm sorry, we're not Lee Talbot Paintworks here.
No.
But there she is.
Look good. Very good. Awesome.
So here's the new LMR. We haven't named it yet.
What should we name it? Should we put it out to the guys that are watching?
We can put it out, but I'm quite precious about my names, purely because, as you know, they're all based on space kind of star
Space.
thing. Do you know where
call
the
it
star
Spock?
thing? Do you know where the star thing come from?
No, tell me.
No. So it's a sad story, to be fair. So my father, he passed on Fireworks Day.
Right. Okay.
Obviously, up in the sky, we've got lots of stars in fireworks, and it was just, that's a reminder. Hence why the PJM, which is my dad, there is in the star, and the LMR has a star in it as well.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know either. That's cool.
So it's all the names are based around kind of star things. Like we have the Apollo body, obviously it went to space, and we have Delta, we have Electra. Electra's a star, that was a wing, all kind of stuff like that. So if anyone can think of a cool name, but it has to be related to stars or space.
I like it. That's good enough for me, mate.
But here's the body. I'll show you that. I'll take it off. It only got fitted and sprayed tonight. No, it only arrived on Saturday, and this is the first one. We got to put like paint lines and stuff.
Any changes and stuff to it, or did it fit okay?
I mean, it fits good. Yeah, not really much to change. I'm going to try and get to the track to give it a run and make sure it works on the track as well.
Yeah.
One cool thing is the carb top needle here. It's actually, if you can kind of see, it's got a bobble around it, so it protects the carb a little bit more.
Yep, that's cool.
Which is quite nice.
Well, on the current generation OS carbs, they stick up. They stick up, don't they? So that's a very good addition.
Yeah, so that will give it a little bit more protection, hopefully. And anyway, we thought about it. Not many other people think about it. So yeah, nice big cab forward design. Mohawk in the roof. Everyone loves a Mohawk. Nice and flat down the sides. Good for stickers, as you can see.
Yeah, you could get a couple more on there somewhere, maybe.
I could. But yeah, very good. As we found out, very good stability, very good steering, and really good at jumping. So this is that body.
Yeah, that's going to be a popular edition, and it's going to slot in really nicely with the two standard shells that we have, i.e. the 309E and then the normal Nitro as well. Definitely a different feel. Massively recommend anyone having a go at that. And you look very good at that. It's almost James Bondy. We're getting some good names.
I'm trying to do the little gun thing, the James Bond gun.
It's good. It's good.
So there you go. It's a no-name
it.
LMR Gamma 319 and 319E body shell.
I like it. We've got some good names coming in, Leroy, down the side.
Yeah, we're going to have to research. So the Craig Homer one's good because he said Skyrocket, and you know what my dog's names are? Sky and Rocket.
Yeah. And Craig probably wouldn't have known that, so that's an organic naming right there.
Yeah.
I quite like Voyager. Voyager sounds quite good.
Yeah, you would like Voyager.
No, that sounds similar. You're thinking Voyeur, probably.
Yeah. The 319 Star, but Star's a bit too generic. We need to say a bit more fired up than that, Phil.
The Cosmic's good from Mr.
Cosmic,
Wright. That's pretty good.
Cosmic's nice. I like Cosmic. Glazer said it looks like a pickup truck.
Truck, the LMR truck. Oh, Glazer, don't ever change.
Truck you, Glazer.
That is
truck you.
the most. That is the most aeronautical name that we could ever come up with. Truck. This is the NASA truck.
Yeah. Here's the Transit, LMR Transit body. Have that. Maybe we should just call it the X for SpaceX.
Could be the X. Yeah, could be the X.
They must have some cool rocket names, SpaceX.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I haven't looked at that. Elon is very into having a reference to something, so I'm sure you're probably right there. They've probably got some names on there. They'll be like the Eddie Stobart trucks.
The current launch vehicles they have are mostly Falcons.
Okay.
They've got Falcon full thrust.
I mean, that's got to be it, and it's got to be the LMR full thrust.
The LMR FFT, Falcon full thrust. Or just the FT. I mean, this is going well. They've got one called the Grasshopper.
Wow.
Starship. That's about it, really. They've got many versions of the Falcon. Maybe that's the one that doesn't crash on landing.
Yes.
So yeah. So there we go. That's the cool new body. I'm looking forward to trying it, and it will be available in the near future. As soon as we get some cut lines on the mold, she'll be shipping.
Awesome. I like it. Shall we move to something that I probably can't do because I'm now using my phone to make this work, which had my list of questions. Oh no, it's updated. So we've got a list of questions. Should we run through them? Because I think we're almost up to date, aren't we, on the side? Anything else you want to do on the side?
Everyone's just still trying to name it. So
okay, we'll come back to it.
Just give us a thumbs up on the side. It's just only for me own personal thing to see who's actually listening. I'm on 23. If we can get to 40, I'd be happy.
Well, you do that. We'll come back to the names that are coming on the side, and I think we should probably name it on the show. That would be a good thing to do.
Okay.
And you can choose whatever you want to call it. So I've got some questions here written down. The first one was rain incoming at a race. 10 minutes until you'll run. What do you do? Sounds like Montpellier.
Head for the mulled wine.
Head for the mulled wine. Send your pitman to go and get some ultra soft cubes.
Yeah, you pick up some ultra soft cubes, and you basically just go and have fun. You take the roll bars off.
Roll bars off.
Roll bars off, ultra soft cubes, and there's nothing else you can do. There's no point panicking about it. And the people in Heat 3 have probably kicked your ass anyway.
I would do one more thing, is I would raise the ride height all round, just to get it really leaning on those tyres to get that traction coming in. And also it would then compensate for the fact that the car's probably going to get heavy as well, because rain in our game, rain normally means mud, which means heavy, and then you lose all ride height and it just sits down on the chassis. And that's it, isn't it? That's with 10 minutes, that's all you're going to be doing.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so that's that one answered. When tuning an engine, what are your first steps? Which needle do you look at first? That's for you, Leroy.
I look at the one that will blow it up.
Look at the lean it out, Leroy.
Yeah, this is all you, mate. I'm going to just take a couple of peanuts here.
When tuning an engine, what are your first steps? The first step I would do, I'd first ask, why am I tuning? As in, is there something wrong? What are you eating?
Peanuts.
Very good. Is there something wrong with it? Has anybody been to the toilet recently in your household that have put their hands into those peanuts, or are they verified?
They're just messy to get out, you know.
Okay, fair enough. The spoon threw me off. I thought you had like this big, lavish bowl of peanuts that are near the toilet entry. So the first thing I would do is ask, is there something wrong with it, or would you like me to just check it? Because sometimes people just like to have their motor checked to make sure they think it's okay. Assuming that there's something wrong with it, the first thing I would do is reset the top needle. Now, for us, it's an easy thing to do. OS carbs come out like peas in a pod, so I know exactly to screw it in, screw it back out a certain amount of times. So I know that's somewhere near right. Always leave it slightly on the rich side. And then I'll start it and see where we're at on the mid and the bottom. I don't tend to reset those because I just don't. I do it by ear and by look of fuel and stuff coming out of it. I'll get there somewhere about right. do the idle, and then I'll start leaning on the top end so that we can get the performance somewhere where near where I think it should be, about right. And then the last little bit of that normally has to be on the track, because you can only do so much on the starter box before you actually need to see it on the track, understand it. So I'm old school. I tune away by what I see. I think that the engines go through different phases depending on how old they are, how much fuel they've had run through them, and so I'm not a fan of measuring needles with micrometers and all these other things that I've seen. I think they can give you an idea to get it somewhere near, but I can do that without all of those things, and then just tune away to what you see and what you feel. The other big thing as well is it depends on who the driver is on how you can tune it. So, for example, for yourself, Leroy, I know that I can lean your car quite a lot more than I could if it was for myself, because of your very smooth delivery, like butter smooth on the bottom end and the mid. I can lean yours quite a lot more than I could for myself. If I tuned my engine as I would your own, within 2 or 3 laps, it will be very hot and hanging and all over the place. So it's about knowing your engine and then knowing the driver that you're tuning for. For me, it's not an art, but there's definitely some experience required to get them bang on or get the most out of them. Again, the nice thing with any of the OS based engines is that they have a really nice big operating window, so you can get away with not really knowing what you're up to, I think, with an OS, and they carry on running. Some of the other motors on the market, you need to be a little bit more precise to keep things running. That's what I see.
Sounds perfect to me.
If you Leroy, lean it out a turn on the top and let her rip, Taylor Chip.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, next one.
Next one I have is, how do you calculate the runtime of an engine accurately?
I'm loving this. You carry on, mate.
This is not good. You're into the detail. The devil's in the detail. There's various good apps out there. You need to download one of those onto your phone, and then you need to fill up your tank, go out, have someone that's reliable to start your stopwatch and stop your stopwatch when you come in, so you know exactly how long you've run for. There will be invariably an amount of fuel left over. You then need to have a syringe, so go down to your local park, see your Charlie on the side there, or perhaps buy them off Amazon, and syringe out the remaining fuel, which will give you a certain milliliter of fuel left. You can then put the runtime that you've run, the millimeter that you have left, or milliliters that you have left, and the size of your tank into one of these very, very clever little apps, and it will tell you exactly how long, theoretically, you could have run for. I say theoretically because where some people fall short is people tend to measure that in like best case scenarios. So when they've absolutely topped the tank up, so there's absolutely like it is full, which is not what you get when you're in the middle of a race and so you come into the pit lane hot, you put the fuel gun in, perhaps your mechanic pulls out a little bit early. Need to have a word with him about that, but pulls out a little bit early. The tank's not quite full, so you're not getting that full 125 or 123 cc's into your tank. And then suddenly, we've all seen it, we've all fall foul of it. You're like, well, I did like 10 minutes on my first one, and then it ran out at 8.5. That actually can't really happen unless it's super dusty and your air filter's got clogged up. It's probably that you didn't get a full tank of fuel. So, yeah, get one of the apps, measure it accurately, but I like to do it by filling up. If you're going to do a tank test, fill it up with a fuel gun like you would ordinarily, and then let it out. Don't fill it up with your fuel bottle, because in the heat of the moment, you're not using a fuel bottle to do your fuel stop. You're using your fuel gun. So that's how you measure a tank. Ish. Leroy, any thoughts?
No thoughts, mate. Smashed it.
Smashed it. When should I change my glow plug? When it's blown up and the filter's gone down the piston and liner and it's put a big score on it. That's the time to change it. Changing glow plugs. Oh God, this is a bugbear of mine, because I always find when you're proactive with something and you think, I'm going to be ahead of the game here and I'm going to change something up, half the time that suddenly goes wrong for you and you blow a plug and you're like, well, I only just put that in. You've heard so many people say that. That aside, I change a plug ordinarily a run before a final. So if there is something weird going to go on with it, it normally goes on quite quickly in my experience. So I do, like on qualifying round 3, if we were, or round 4 or 5, if we were at a national, I put a new plug in. Normally, then if it cuts in the run or there's something funny with that plug, because they are quite temperamental little things. It's only a tiny little bit of platinum wire at the end of the day. You've not lost your final. And tuned to that. What tends to happen is the plugs degrade over a time. So particularly, again, we're lucky with OS plugs. They're very, very strong, and they'll keep hanging on in there. And often you can manage to finish a run with an OS plug, and then you come to start it the next time, and it won't start. Which is obviously far more preferable than, say, for example, back in the day with a Nemo Racing plug. They used to just blow in the middle of a run. They've blown. That's it. The filter's gone. You know that one very, very well from the Worlds, and it's all game over. So I would put one in a run before a final. They're £6 or £7 in the cost of the meeting to go and do it, and the fuel there, and the hotels, and all that sort of stuff. I think putting in a plug before a final at a race meeting is really good, and then you can then use that one for practice and some qualifiers at your next race, or some practice if you're not racing. So I tend to do one a meeting, I suppose. That's probably over the top, but we're trying to make sure that we're ahead of that curve of not having a failure. Some people can put a plug in and it lasts 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 meetings, which is obviously fantastic as well. But racing's about process of elimination for me, and you get yourself a wear rate, don't you? This bit needs to be changed after a certain period of time to know that it doesn't fail. You know, for example, Leroy, you're trying to win all these races, so you try and take away as many variables as you can. Apart from you didn't manage to do that in Italy.
Well, I mean, it had a new plug.
There we go, you see.
For the semi-practice or whatever it was, but yeah.
Yeah, so it was the right theory. Do you know what? Sometimes you just get unlucky, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can try your best. You've done all the right steps, and it just doesn't pan out.
Exactly. It didn't even just go. It ejected itself into the piston line, like you said. Yeah,
exactly. Job done, engine done.
Yep.
Yeah, sad days. I think we were already on our way back because we'd had our sad day a bit earlier than your sad day from that race. We started 3 days tour back to the UK from that race after nearly TQ in practice to being that's racing. That's how it goes, isn't it?
That's racing.
So next question, and some of these are going to come into your foreplay. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? Come into your court soon. Which international race meeting would you suggest for somebody looking at their first one to race at?
8th scale or 10th scale?
Let's stay 8th scale. Or do both. Do both quick. We can do both, can't we? That's easy-ish.
So I'm going to say Montpellier for 8th scale, and I say this for a few reasons. I mean, it's got good and bad points, Montpellier. The best thing is you finish at a sensible time. It's quite a nice atmosphere. It's a good place to be, and I think you'd enjoy the track. On the other hand, you might feel like you don't get enough practice, and most of the events run in French. That's my only bad thing about it. I know it's in France, but sometimes it seems like you have no clue what's going on. So for someone going there that's not done anything before, it might be a bit hard for them. I can't massively think of many 8th scale, because normally we're going to the big races and it's like Padova or it's the Euros and stuff. So it's kind of hard to pick one. But yeah, Montpellier would be fun, especially if you're going with an Agama or whatever. You can just join in the Nemo party and everyone's going to look after you and you're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So for 10th scale, I'd probably look at like an EOS. They're very well-run events. If you pick the right ones, like the one we do in Dawn, I mean, I do them all, but the one you come to in Dawn is a very well-run event. Lots of people. It's a great place to be. Everything's on site. It's like staying in the center parks of RC. So something like that would be great. And again, you know, if you find someone that's done one before, or someone like myself that can kind of give you an idea what's going to happen and what's going on, happy days. So yeah, there's my 2.
I'm in complete alignment with you. So for me, it would be, it's an easy one for me. Montpellier, for many reasons. I do think as an experience, it's cool. It's something that is accessible for everybody. Like you say, there are some limitations. It's run in French predominantly. But if you're in a team that's there representing, that shouldn't be an issue. I think that's a fantastic one. That and Paddy Piston for me, when it runs. Unfortunately, it didn't run this year. I don't know about 2021. But that race, again, in terms of pure runtime, it's not comparable to anything else. You'll have a fantastic time, and the hosting of everybody there is just awesome. So they're my two real big standouts in 8th scale. In 10th scale, I haven't really done very much, but I've been blown away the 2 times I have been to Dawn. Obviously, you were exceptional there on both those occasions, so that's probably helped in that experience, as it always does. But what an idyllic place to go and race some RC. It's in the middle of winter. It's often got snow there. It's got everything. Once you've arrived, you're done. The hotel's there. You walk up to the hall to race your cars. It's uber competitive. It's the best in Europe are there. The track's fun. Scotty's doing his thing on the mic and stuff. I think that is easily for me the one to go and do if you can in 10th scale. I think an absolute fantastic time, and hopefully we'll also be at those doing that whole Nemo thing that we try to do as well in the not too distant future with products that we're there supporting. So yeah, same for me, mate. Those 2 races, they're standout ones.
There we go. In line.
What else do we have here? There was a very good one about beta tires and when we'd use them. I think we could probably do that one on a different time, because I think it's going to take quite a bit of time up. So we'll save that one. It's a great question for another time.
We'll do a video on it.
Yeah, exactly. A video would be helpful for everybody.
It's cut out again.
Bear with me 1 second. Are you still there, Mr. Martin? Sorry, we've had a bit of a network change. So yeah, the beta question. You also had a good one, which is a little bit quicker to answer. Is what are the telltale signs to look for in a dirt track as it matures over a race day, and what do you do then with choosing your tyres? This would be a good one for you.
I think you just have to look at
what everybody else is doing.
Hey.
What everybody else is doing and just copy that. Yeah.
I mean, you can always take experience and advice from other people. If you see someone go on a tyre that looks like it's working for a compound, then you can jump on it too. I mean, that's you'd look for that. What you can see is how dry the track's getting, how much grip you're getting. If there's still no grip in the track, you're not going to want to thicken up your tyre compound. You're not going to want to go stiffer. If the track's coming up in traction, it's getting dry, you can see the groove going down, or you can definitely see the cars have grip. You can start going up in the compound. Ultimately, it's all to do with grip. We're not going to run hard tires with no grip, so just look for the traction when it's coming up.
Yeah, and invariably, the bigger the meeting, the quicker the traction comes up, doesn't it? Because the line clears up, so you can get onto those harder compound tires quicker. And in my experience, the sooner you can get onto those harder compound tires, normally the faster you go. Even if sometimes it can feel a bit sketchy. You think, well, it doesn't feel quite as locked in as what I had before. And you look at the lap times and you're a second, because it's just moving forward all of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got to try and read it. General rule of thumb: as the track rubbers in more, you'd be trying to get up in the compound into harder stuff. Temperature dependent and a few other things dependent, but hopefully our environment as a team will be helpful in that respect, because we've got quite a lot of people that are there running the stuff, invariably trying different things, and we can quite quickly see which one is working. We've seen it even on the 6-mix stuff on some of our races, Leroy, where because we've got that depth of people running stuff, we can look and see a trend happening quite quickly, which means that we can then advise the customers which is the best way to go.
Yeah, exactly. Never forget about looking at other people's races and taking a judge of that.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. That's all part of the game. At the end of the day, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So next question: what have we got? What plans for Nemo Racing in developing up and coming drivers? We'll come back to that one another time, because that's a long question. With the most in-depth team within the UK in terms of experience, how do you think we utilise this to help our whole team? That was from Kev. So that's a good question. Hopefully it sort of filters down all the way through. I think we're very lucky that we've got quite a lot of helpful people on our team that are very happy to give up their own time to help somebody that may be in need of help in times of distress. The thing with all of these cars, it doesn't matter which manufacturer you race for, it don't work. You know, even if he wins the worlds or beats the ones that are winning the worlds previously, if you set them wrong, they literally work. So hopefully we create an environment where people can come along and lean on that with us. I think we're always learning as well. I don't think you ever stop. And I also think that when launching a new car, you have to understand it. You know, I see that a little bit with the AE at the moment, which is going through a rocky patch with drivers probably jumping ship quite quickly because it's not quite what they had for the last 3 or 4 years. I think you need to allow time to learn your product, and I think if you do that, you get the reward from it. So hopefully, in terms for us, there's enough of us out there, whether we're the young chargers, Lewis Jones, or the ones that they're trying to win the races, like Lewis and yourself, for example, or Kev even, and then even to my level, if I'm racing as well, I think I can give good feedback to the guys that are there, running the cars, different driving styles, because we are a big team. I think we've that covered in terms of whether you're very aggressive or whether you're smooth, and you just tune it to suit. So hopefully that's one of our strongest points as a team, is we can help out whatever you are and however you drive, and we can advise on red wine.
What more do you need?
What more do you need? Yeah, exactly. Which leads on to my next question, which was from Mr. Jones Senior, actually, which was, on average, how long should it take to consume a bottle of red wine? About 10 minutes, probably.
Depends how long Jonesy stays in the gym.
I've definitely, even in a short time together, I've definitely seen Jonesy demolish a bottle of red wine in less than 10 minutes. So
yeah,
we'll go with 10 minutes.
10 minutes, a bit like your fuel stops.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, plus that, I don't know what's going on. Tell you what's going on one day. Right, so on from that one, Nemo Raceway is average. This is, I don't know who this was from, because I've actually not written who it's from. Nemo Raceway is okay, but if you could change one thing about the original track design, what would it be and why? You designed it, so I think that's for you.
Yeah. I don't really know. I'd like to make a jump section that was quite technical, and I'm not sure many people would like that, because most people just want to be able to get around, and the track does wicked for that. But for me, I'd like a bit that's like a double where you've got to get your timing right to be able to do it properly. But I don't know if I'd like to ruin the flow of anything by having that happen. So, yeah,
it's difficult. Definitely very, very good question. That I like it. I thought about it when I saw it coming earlier on. I thought I need to come up with something that's constructive and just not know. Well, I like what I have, kind of thing. But I do. I think what is really fun to drive. There's some would have some plug-in jumps in and out, which could be quite interesting. That could form a a double, triple, or something like that. I don't know where we'd put it. Maybe US spec on the straight, maybe where it's is really complicated jumps that you can't see, that are far from you. I've never understood why that happens.
No.
And that's one of the reasons why our track, when you get into that back lane, over 5.5 meters wide, that it's purposely made that way, because we know it's more difficult to judge what's going on when it's far away. But yeah, I mean, cool. Go on.
If we did that jump section across the back, and then as you're coming down the hill, have like a step down type thing, that would be quite cool.
Yeah, that could be done.
So a little bit further down, so you kind of jump to the corner and get it on the brakes there. Would be
way down. Would be good. Cool. Yeah. Mr. Roscoe's got some good ideas as well of jumping into the bum hole, which is good to jump into the bum hole, I think, with a plug-in jump as well. So I think you will see some things that will plug in and out of the track. We've actually had to have it all ordnance surveyed, and all the elevation changes and everything are now plotted as well, as part of the stuff that we've done for the council. So you might be seeing that track design for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you might be. But luckily for us, it's something that's super enjoyable. And like you said once, Leroy, I always think of the really cool European tracks that I personally love, and their shape has been something. It's iconic. They have it for years. They might add in a little bit of a take somewhere here or there, and Montpellier is the same as that. It's by and large the same track that we've been going to since the beginning, and they tweak it a little bit, and they re-roll it and get it ready for the season, all that sort of stuff. So there's invariably a little bit of change, but the fundamentals, they last year in, year out. And I think if you get something right in the beginning, then you don't need to keep swapping it up.
Yeah, exactly. And you can really work on that. Then you can build curbs and stuff into the layouts because you're not going to change.
Yeah, exactly. And as you know, that's something that's close to my heart.
Yeah,
I want to try and do at some what we've got going on. Some other questions I've got here. We've got some coming on the side as well. I think this was from Jonesy Senior as well, which was talk us through your best worlds, which was for me, which would be Indonesia. For me, because I won my semi and was very confident going into the main that there was going to be a fantastic result. It was over before it even started, with rear shock falling off it, and then the U bend of the air filter broken. So it kind of went from hero to zero very, very quickly. But that was my best worlds. Greatest things about our hobby is where you do end up, and the experiences that you get. And like for that worlds, the standout things for me over and above results and like being bussed into the race like every day, and that shuttle ran like I think it was every 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and it would take you back to your hotel. There's some massive logistics which interest me in other businesses that I've had. There's some massive logistics that they went through to put that race on. We might have covered this once before, but they had KFC at the track. I mean, can you imagine trying to persuade KFC to be at the track here? They were there like with fresh chicken every single day. And yeah, so that's my memorable one of like, oh my God, how did this actually get put on? You didn't have to marshal. So they had like 15 marshals, and then there was reserve ones of those. So there was probably 30 people that were marshalling that the club were paying for. And then there was security at like every point that you could get in. It was like being at a Formula One event. It was quite incredible how different cultures and places view things, I suppose, really. So that would be my takeaway, would be Indonesia. And then the next one I think was for us both, which was, who was your best teammate ever?
In terms of what? The best at driving, the best friend, the best, I don't know, it's hard, isn't it, that one?
I would just say like holistically best, not best in terms of, oh my God, they're going to beat me again. The best is in terms of, sharing this race with this person, and that's fun.
It's a tough one, that,
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Jonesy, he's all over it.
He's all over it. It's a hard question because I've had quite a lot, but never one that's like always by your side, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Do they smile with a knife in their hand, just waiting because they want to beat you?
Sometimes they just want to leave. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, Mark, it pops in my head. Mark Ryan, I was always a pretty good teammate because he always had a pretty good laugh, but he was always happy if you did well. And I think that's because, his eye was on touring car. So if you beat him or whatever, he was just always kind of happy about that. It didn't matter as long as you had a result between you.
Yeah, I thought when I saw that question earlier, I thought I know who Leroy's going to pick, and Mark was the one that I thought that you would say.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
but it wasn't quite as convincingly as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's hard because although he was my teammate, not all the time, he was off at touring car races and stuff, so it's like more thinking about that. But Mark's he's always been very good to have around, and he's always going to be fast. And like I say, if you won or he won, he was the same. It wasn't like boasting thrown in your face if he beat you, and then on the other hand, if you won, he was super happy because you did well.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, it's really easy, and that would be Rob Gustafsson from Sweden. On various teams over the time, we were X-Ray teammates back when I was trying to race semi-professionally, I guess, for X-Ray. And then I was lucky enough to persuade him to join in with the Gamma festivities as well, and then had the pleasure of racing him at a couple of over 40s Euros as well, which was cool because we could relive. It was a different, you're racing for a different crown, but it's still something, and you're there in the field racing with him. So yeah, easy one for me. When he won the over 40s Euros, obviously for us it was an absolute win-win because it's an Agama and all that sort of stuff that's on the podium, and I think he was on beta tyres as well at that time, which was in Austria. And then yeah, exactly. And then likewise in reverse for me when we were in Germany, Robert had some time out of RC, and it's actually incredible how quickly stuff fades away when you do take a break, because he'd had a sort of a semi-break for about a year of the serious stuff. But he was super happy to see me win that one. So yeah, an easy one for me. We had loads of fun off track as well. Back in the day in 2000 and I don't know what it would be, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Yeah, just a complete gentleman. Makes you want to race RC racing, and you meet these people that you would never meet in life, would you? You mean why would I have met him? I mean, it looks like he's going to.
It's crazy,
but it's like the opposite. Yeah, exactly. An easy one for me, that one.
Yeah,
Gus.
Wicked. I like Gus too. He's a legend.
Yeah, he's a legend, isn't he? We had another one, my last one for me, and then we can throw it off to the side because we've been going on for a little while now. I don't know how we've managed to pack this one out, but how's the roof coming along? A little bit slowly, just from the council point of view. We've actually got the roofing company out on site tomorrow. I'm sure we'll be all there in our masks having a look at various bits and pieces. So that's exciting. I think that's another step forward. They're surveying how they're going to try and put it up and be mindful of what we've already created, because what we don't want to do is destroy all the effort and work that went in back in the day by Davey Boy and myself and Ant and Lee and everybody that was involved in making what we've got. So that's a good step forward tomorrow. So excited for that. Past that, no further reports on that one. Leroy, over to you on the side.
Yeah,
take it away.
Few things down the side, and I'll try and rush them through because we are almost at 10 o'clock. Ivan Bingham wants some big jumps. Graham Wright said track is thumbs up. Nick Emerson said he didn't just say Nemo was okay. Yeah, but we know what you said, Nick. Thank you. Andreas says, talking about tracks, Lee, any thoughts of Titan RC Arena in Poland? Yeah, it looks awesome. I'm looking forward to getting out there to doing some time there one day. It's Olowski's visiting there a bit too much at the moment. He's getting a bit too fast, I reckon. So
you can put some manners on him. You'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to come back to the UK soon anyway, I would imagine. Once all this COVID calms down, he's got to come back to work. So yeah, I mean, it looks great. CJ, John, get on it. KFC at Nemo, for the love of God. No, we've got Big Phil. We don't need KFC.
And the only way that we would get KFC there is if I go there, buy 65 bargain buckets and bring it back to the track.
And nothing is impossible.
No, that's so true.
Barry Abbott, good to hear from you, Barry. Explain the pros and cons of C-Hub over Pitbull. I would, but we'd be here for a long, long time. So C-Hub for me is a more tunable amount of steering. You can have it or you don't have to have it, whereas a Pitbull, you kind of get stuck with it or without it. John?
Yeah, and it's interesting because in recent time, when you were back in Infinity days, you've run all of those incarnations. So of all of the current people, I think you're actually most qualified to talk about that. And I think for me, C-Hub, there definitely is pros and cons all the way. But for me, C-Hub, in a variety of applications over a variety of surfaces and tracks and everything else, C-Hub for me, I think it's a very constant thing. I think C-Hub sometimes works really well, and sometimes they're on the missing list. And I would just look at the last... Pitbull, yeah. I would look at the last few, like Worlds and taking away associated stuff. But other than that, the big races, RCGP, all that sort of stuff, I would say that C-Hub is your one.
There we go.
Same as you. ultimately. I think
Oh, look at
if the
this. We've
track's
got
bumpy and hard work and all that sort of stuff, then a pivot ball has its place. But I think as our racing has progressed over the last few years, I actually think we see the trend of pivot ball right now, but I think we'll see it start to come back.
yeah,
Just
I
like
agree.
1985 all over again.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a reason in temp scale no one uses pivot ball because it wouldn't turn. So
Well, and didn't somebody do that in relatively
S-Works.
recent time?
Yeah,
And how did
and
that fare?
it didn't work.
Okay.
So there we go. There's a nice comment on the side from Mr. Olowski. So he was obviously watching, and then when we mentioned him, he decided to make a comment. So good to see you doing some practice, mate. Stay safe, and we look forward to you coming back to England because you still need to come to our track.
Does.
And there we go. We are right at the end of it. So
that's what she said. Yeah. How did we get to nearly 10 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Sorry, everybody.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Thanks for everyone for watching. Really.
One last comment that I've seen now twice from Ivan, past the first comment that I didn't really understand, is the live 319 coming, Lee? Yes.
Yes. I need to pick up my new kit, and we can do it. Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Well, on that bombshell, I think you should sign it off, mate.
Yeah, there we go. On that bombshell, we are going to go and leave you all to your lovely evenings. I thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, do hit the thumbs up. I even did it myself. I hit the thumbs up button just to add another little one in there for some self-esteem. Subscribe to our page if you haven't already. Please go onto our Facebook page, also Nemo Racing, and just give us a like. Why not? Yeah, keep an eye out for all the good things coming soon. We can't wait to get our lockdown and invite you or have you all at our track or see you at a track and really get to grips with racing again in what feels like it's been an eternity. And we are really looking forward to 2021 as well. So
100%.
There we go. That's all that. Thanks very much, everyone. Hit the thumbs up, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, and hit the pillow.
Cheers, everybody. We'll see